Welcome to Red-Handed Crimes channel. Don't forget to subscribe. The courtroom was silent. The only sound was the ticking of the clock, marking the slow passage of time. Seated at the defense table, Michael Grayson clenched his fists, the weight of 10 years behind bars pressing on his shoulders. He had waited for this moment, his last chance at freedom. The DNA evidence was irrefutable. It had taken years to test, years of lawyers and appeals, but the results were now clear: Michael was not the killer. Yet, despite the undeniable proof, the prosecution remained steadfast. They weren't going to let him walk free. It had all begun on a humid summer night in 2008. The small town of Fairview had never been known for violent crime, but that changed when 22-year-old Rachel Donovan was found murdered in her apartment. The brutality of the crime shocked the community: stab wounds, defensive injuries, and a struggle that suggested she had fought for her life. The police moved quickly. Too quickly. Michael, her ex-boyfriend, was arrested within days. The breakup had been messy, and eyewitnesses claimed to have seen him near her apartment on the night of the murder. There was no physical evidence tying him to the scene, no murder weapon, but the jury was convinced by the circumstantial case built against him. Guilty. Life in prison. Michael had protested, screaming in the courtroom, but his words were drowned out by the judge's gavel. Years passed, and Michael adjusted to life behind bars. But he never stopped fighting. From the cramped prison library, he pored over legal books, sending letters to Innocence projects and journalists. He begged for someone, anyone, to listen. Then, after a decade of rejections, a lawyer named Sarah Monroe took an interest in his case. She wasn't the first attorney to hear his pleas, but something about the case nagged at her. The lack of physical evidence, the rushed conviction, it didn't sit right. Sarah filed for DNA testing on evidence that had been collected but never analyzed. A small blood sample found under Rachel's fingernails. It had been assumed to be hers, but no one had ever confirmed it. When the results came back, they sent shockwaves through the system. It wasn't Michael's DNA. It belonged to an unknown male. Michael thought this was it, his ticket to freedom. But what should have been an immediate exoneration became another battle. The prosecution refused to accept the DNA evidence as enough to overturn his conviction. They argued that it didn't necessarily mean he hadn't killed Rachel. Maybe she had fought someone else earlier. Maybe he had an accomplice. The judge denied Michael's request for release. Rage burned inside him. How could the truth be right there, and yet justice remained out of reach? Sarah fought harder, appealing to higher courts, drawing media attention to the injustice. Journalists picked up the story, exposing the flaws in the case. Public outrage grew, but the system remained slow, unwilling to admit a mistake had been made. Months passed. Then, a breakthrough. A forensic database hit revealed a match to the unknown DNA. The blood belonged to a man named Travis Ellison, a career criminal with a history of violent offenses, including assaults on women. Travis had been in and out of prison, his crimes escalating over the years. And in 2008, he had been in Fairview. At the time of the murder, he had no alibi. But here was the devastating part: Travis had been arrested just 2 months after Rachel's murder for an unrelated crime. Had the police tested the DNA earlier, Michael might never have spent a single night in prison. With this new evidence, the state could no longer ignore the truth. Michael's conviction was overturned. After 15 years behind bars, he walked out of prison a free man. But he was not the same person who had entered those gates all those years ago. He had missed birthdays, funerals, and every moment that should have made up a life. The world had moved on without him. His mother, who had fought tirelessly for his release, had passed away. Friends had disappeared. He was free, but he was alone. Standing in front of the courthouse, Michael faced the cameras, his voice steady but full of pain. "I lost everything. The system took my life, and no one can give it back." The justice system is supposed to protect the innocent. But when mistakes happen, how hard should a person have to fight to prove they never belonged behind bars? Michael Grayson's story is just one of many. How many others are still sitting in prison, waiting for someone to believe them? Justice isn't just about convicting the guilty. It's about ensuring that the innocent don't pay the price. And sometimes, the system gets it wrong. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe.